Today, I practiced with Alexis Canter. He's been ATP ranked since 2015 and has a career high of 773. Alexis has been playing a super high level of tennis his whole life, being the under-16s national champion in the UK and almost taking out Stefanos Tsitsipas at Junior Wimbledon. The other day, he sent me a message as he was looking for a hit, and of course, I wasn't going to say no. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through our practice session, and make sure you stay to the end to find out who wins in a tiebreak to 10. Let's get into it. So I started out with my standard physical warm-up, and after a quick discussion about what we wanted to do in the session, it was time to get our rackets out and start hitting. So we started by hitting a few balls down the middle and really focusing on hitting middle of the strings and getting my feet moving. Alexis hits a pretty big ball, and in some of my previous sessions with him, I found myself leaning back on the contact a little bit. So in this hit, I really wanted to make sure I was getting my body weight through the ball right from the start. Really focusing on making sure my hip travels through the ball first and not just bringing my foot around. These first few rallies are all about being as relaxed as possible through the shot, getting really good shape and consistency, trying to set up the session well. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, we were ready to get into our first exercise. So this was essentially a cross-court rally progression, where you start off like normal, trying to rally cross-court, getting a good recovery position. And then it progresses on to looking for that short ball opportunity. As soon as you see that ball to attack on, you take it on down the line. Your partner doesn't chase it down, you just restart that rally in the cross-court. Naturally, whilst doing this, your aim is to take your partner off the court to create space for that down the line shot. And Alexis did this really well against me. It caused me to slice a lot of forehands, and looking back at this video, I think I could have actually got behind these balls and ripped them with my forehand instead of just lunging for a slice. I definitely resorted to that slice way too often. The key to doing this exercise really well is taking that ball early. If you're able to take it early, you take time away from the opponent, and when you do change down the line, you'll probably end up hitting winners when you don't even intend to. So what we did next was progress this on to a live point situation. So you just rally cross court like normal. As soon as someone goes down the line, you play the point in the whole court like normal. And as you can see here, we had quite a lot of fun with these points, doing a few drop shots. I went for a couple of hot dogs and didn't really win me too many points. But I did manage to get one of my best ever winners on camera, going for a slap forehand on the run down the line. Probably wouldn't be the best play in a match situation because it's such a low percentage play, but it was really cool to get this one on camera and show you guys. Okay, so moving on to the backhand side now, we did the same progressions, and it really highlighted what I was talking about with my backhand in the previous episode. I did do some really good counter punches down the line, but on too many occasions I was too tight on that backhand and lacked movement back towards the ball, pushing that ball a little bit too short and giving Alexis opportunities to attack me down the line. Within these live point situations, I shifted my focus away from the backhand and back onto the forehand. Because of course, if the ball lands central, you want to be using your most dominant shot, which for most people is that forehand. With these points here, the winner of the point was often dictated by who hit that middle shot with the backhand and who was able to dominate that ball with their forehand hitting into space. So that was quite interesting to see, as at lower down levels you can get away with pushing a ball a little bit short or central, but at this level you really have to take every opportunity you have to start dominating the point. After this, we quickly warmed up our volleys and smashes, and Alexis started explaining a drill to me that he wanted to do. This encompassed an approach shot, coming to the net and trying to finish off the point with your volleys. I do feel like when someone approaches the net, I either go for too much or I go for too little, and we can see that here with these two lobs just not having enough on the ball. I really need to discover that balance and maybe go for a few more two ball passes where you get one dipping low to the feet and then have an easier opportunity to pass on the next shot. I don't need to try and do it straight away. But on the flip side, when I'm at the net, I'm really trying to be clinical with these volleys and not really giving Alexis too much of an opportunity to get behind these balls and pass me on them. However, there is some occasions where there's not much you can do. You hit a decent volley and someone just hits too good a pass, like this one here. After a few more goes, I was really getting the hang of it, and I was really putting pressure on with my approach shot and really getting a hang of putting away these volleys and smashes. But there's always something that's got to go wrong, and I somehow managed to volley a ball into my head, which I was very disappointed that I got on camera, and there's no way that I would be getting away with not putting this one on the channel. We then warmed up a few serves, and it was time to get into the match tiebreak. I won the toss and chose to serve, and to be honest, I couldn't have had a better start with a second serve on the frame and a double fault. Brilliant. But in all seriousness, my main focus for this tiebreak was to really try and get on the front foot on the first few shots of the rally. But with the way that Alexis was serving and returning, this proved to be quite a challenge. Naturally, the rally length of these points are quite short, and this is due to the fact that the courts are so quick, and this is the case for a lot of indoor centres across the UK. And I think sometimes this played in my head a little bit as I was trying to go for a little bit too much on the first opportunity that I had in the rally. And these points here are just another example of the importance of having a strong, effective first serve. It doesn't need to be super quick, but if you get your accuracy and placement, it really sets up the point well, and this is something that was lacking within my game here. The way that these points were panning out was really in Alexis's control. He was either controlling that point and winning them and making winners, or he was making unforced errors. And as we can see here, when a couple of unforced errors started creeping in, it gave me a little bit of a chance to get back into the tiebreak. But as I'm not the one who's dictating these points, I'm not playing the tiebreak on my own terms. So the only way I can win it is hoping for unforced errors from Alexis, which isn't the way that I want to improve my game for the future. So this is why it's so important to keep improving my serve effectiveness so that I'm actually able to play the way that I want to play in these matches and practices. Alright, so that's how the tiebreak panned out, and I just want to say a big thanks to Alexis for letting me film the practice and put it on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.